in a linguistic and cultural context. Okay, in a yes, let me write it. Meanings can be learned in linguistic and cultural context. Although we are discussing the principles of situational approach to language teaching, some principles, they turn out to be the merits of language teaching. So meanings can be learned in linguistic and cultural context. The teachers, you must have seen, like in your private classes, that the teacher would decorate the classroom with posters, is it not? And sometimes, like you were also asked to bring posters. You would make posters, or you would take help of your parents to make posters and charts and all. So what do the teachers do? They decorate the classroom with posters and charts. And why do they do it? Yes, to stimulate the real communication environment, right? What is the purpose? To stimulate the communication environment, so that they can talk about. Okay, they may point out, well, what is it and what is that, and they may have they may create an environment, a communication environment, so as to make the students in the classroom pick up new words and learn to frame meaningful sentences. Okay, first you tell them words, then they start joining those words. Okay, 2 words, 3 words, and then 4 words. Lot of appropriate material is used to create proper and real situations. He can explain things through his body gestures, by making them on the board, or bringing the objects there in the classroom, or like showing the say charts and posters. So examples are given to make things clear. If he wants to make the meaning of words clear to his students, then what does he do? He gives examples. Examples are given to make things clear to the young learners. Have you heard the name of Frisbee? I'm reminded of that the way. I think I will have to remove. Have you taken them down? These are the 4 principles that we have discussed. Okay, I just because I'm just wiping it off. Language learning is a habit formation process. Mistakes are bad and should be avoided because they make bad habits. Speech is the basis of language learning and teaching, you may say. Speech is the basis of language teaching. Meanings can be learned in linguistic and cultural context. And what do the teachers do? They decorate the classrooms with posters, charts, and all. Okay, so these principles we have seen. Now I'm talking, like Frisbee. I'm like reminded of Frisbee. Remember the name. Okay, I'm writing it here. Frisbee. When teachers are teaching through situational language teaching, they teach or they follow you may say the syllabus, I would call it syllabus, prescribed by Frisbee. Now Frisbee has told us how to teach the young learners. I'm sure you too must have learned the way Frisbee has told. I don't know whether Frisbee told it first or we have learnt it first. Earlier, like things were not like easy. Now whatever we want to learn, we can search on the internet and learn it. Earlier, teacher read. I mean, the senior teachers read, and they passed on to the junior teachers. This is how things came to us. The Frisbee I'm talking about. This is Remember? Or these are, or is this. This used to be structure. This is how we have picked up. This is how we have picked up. Is it not? Like you know what the teacher would do? Teacher would show us something. Like he would show us. Well, this is, come on. This is a pen. This is a marker. Then he would show a book. Well, what is it? This is a book, right? Or this is a pencil. Remember, this is how your teacher told you. So you may have vocabulary here. What are we teaching our young students? We are teaching vocabulary items here. Like you may say, this is book, pencil, pen. Okay, and what else? Say, yes, chalk, a duster. I hope you have watched the movie Chalk and Duster, a good movie on the school environment. Chalk. So this is how. So these are like vocabulary items. Students can be asked. They can be shown like what is it and what is that, and they can tell you, well, this is book, and this is pencil. Teacher first tell them himself. Okay, first the teacher would tell, and then the students would know what a thing is. Okay. So these are sentence patterns. What is he doing? He is giving a practice to his students in sentence patterns, and this way of teaching is prescribed by Frisby. Okay, Hornby, now you know another name, Frisby. Frisby prescribed this. Like you may have first person, second person, third person. Here you may have first person or second person or third person. But yeah, these are when they are plural, then you say these. When they are singular, you know it, but I'm telling you how we picked up the things. These are, come on, tell me anything that you have. Like these are posters, these are charts, you may say. These are posters, these are pens, or pencils, erasers, charts. And sometimes you must have seen, the teacher ask questions like this. Is this a book? If he's teaching interrogative sentences, is this a book? Is this a pencil? Or is this a pen? Is this a notebook? This is how, teachers teach to students, let's say at the UKG or upper KG, or first standard students, very young students. This is how they are taught the sentence patterns. This is how they are taught the structures. So this thing is prescribed by Frisby. Okay. You can write his name there on the internet and see. See what does he say about the situational approach to language teaching. Okay. So have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So is it not something nostalgic?
Yes, sir.
Where is it taking to? To your childhood, to your UKG and UKG classes or first rank classes? Okay. How are new words introduced in the classroom? New words are introduced. This is the next principle. So I am rubbing it off. Frisby. I was reminded of. That's why I talked about it. This is the way to teach young students. If you happen to be a teacher, okay, then you may follow Frisby's approach to language teaching, right? And English language teaching, in fact, we have, as I told you earlier also, this syllabus for teachers only, for the new teachers, or for the teachers in the making, or who are going to take up teaching as a career. That's why, those who do masters in English, they like to go for teaching jobs. Yes. 4 principles we had discussed there. So I was telling that new words are introduced. New words are introduced. This is the next principle, you may say. New words are introduced incidentally. Incidentally. What does it mean, incidentally? New words are introduced incidentally. Come on.
According to the incident.
According to the incident. Okay. No, it's not very clear. Yes, you're okay. You're right, but it's not making the meaning clear here. New words are introduced incidentally. Tell me the opposite of it. Okay, you will understand. What's the opposite of it?
Intentionally.
Very good. There you go. New words are not introduced intentionally. Okay, they are not introduced deliberately. They are rather introduced incidentally. Okay, means in the natural way. It's not that you write the words and make them learn those the way you did in grammar translation method. So how new words are introduced? They are introduced incidentally in the class. New words are not introduced intentionally, as she said, but incidentally in the class. Opportunities are provided to learners to associate the meaning of new words with created situation. Situation is created, and what do learners do? They associate the meaning of new words with the created situation, the real situations. So as I was talking about, how this approach is different from direct method. Come on, this is an improvement of the direct method, but this is also different from the direct method. Now you tell me how is it? Why? Because it focuses upon
vocabulary and grammar rules.
Vocabulary and grammar rules. Okay, good. This is what. But I did not say rule. I said something else. Remember the word I use? That word begins with the letter C.
Control.
Control. Good. Control. That's what. So situation language teaching has come on, vocabulary and
Grammar control.
grammar control. Good. This is what I wanted. Grammar control. Grammar control. Very nice. So these two things, make it different from the direct method. You have everything, there in this situation approach what you had in the direct method. But these are two additional things. And these are the two things that make it different from the situation different from the direct method. Remember this. Okay, this is something very important. Do not forget it. And you have remembered. That is good. So just as in the direct method, situation language teaching 2 lays emphasis on spoken skills. Okay. However, it differs from it as it focuses upon vocabulary and
Grammar control.
vocabulary and reading. Okay, vocabulary and reading. Good. So we may move on. Yes. Vocabulary teaching, because we have been doing vocabulary there in grammar translation method. We talked about vocabulary in direct method, then in bilingual method, and after that in audio-lingual method. In every method, in every approach, we have been talking about vocabulary. Okay, vocabulary is something very important. Vocabulary teaching occupies an important position in teaching English as a foreign language, And if you wish to learn any foreign language, what is the first thing that you do, or you are required to do? You're supposed to pick up the words. Okay. So this is something, the most important thing as far as foreign language learning is concerned. It is believed that a strong vocabulary leads to good reading skills. You must have seen some students read very fast and some are slow readers. Why are they? Yes, those who have a good vocabulary read fast. Those who have a good vocabulary also speak well. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what is required? That you have to have a good vocabulary. You have to have a good vocabulary. As our students' English level, to a large extent, depends on how many words he has stored in his mind. How many words do you have there in your mind? How many patterns of sentences you can form with the help of those words? What do? You store words there in your mind, and with those words you are able to form new patterns, new sentences. So if you have that potential, that capability, then that means you know the language. So besides situational tables, like that was a situational table that we had. Okay, the FRISBY'S situational table. So besides situational tables depicting prominent grammatical structures, sentence patterns are believed to help learners internalize the grammatical rules. Means vocabulary, no doubt, has a very important place in language learning. Besides that, sentence patterns have a very important role as well, as we see in FRISBY'S table. Okay, a table. These tables. The students learn them by heart, and they start framing sentences themselves. Although you have just 10 to 20 sentences there in that table, or 10 to 20 words in that table, but with the help of those 20 words, you can make 2000 sentences. If you have learned, say, words, if you have improved your vocabulary, if you have stored many words there in your mind. So we have been saying that language items here in the situational approach are practiced, are learned in meaningful situations. So this is the 7, the language items. The language items are practiced, you can say, practiced in meaningful situations. You have to make the situations meaningful, practical. Okay, meaningful situations, so as to keep the interest of the students, retain the students' interest in language learning. The language items are practiced in meaningful situation. This is another principle of SLT. The new language items and vocabulary items are graded according to their usefulness, frequency, and teachability, you may say. Okay, the language items thus selected and graded are presented and practiced in meaningful situations. It's not it's not that you arbitrarily pick up the words and teach your students. No, they are selected, they are graded, and they should have a purpose also. Means like everyday words are learnt or taught to students. Everyday words which are uncommon, which we do not use in everyday conversation, are not taught in the primary classes or in the elementary classes. It is believed that students pick up those uncommon words or complex words or difficult words, jargons kind, or like very big words, themselves at the advanced level. So at this level, I mean, when you are following the situation language approach, the language items are selected and graded and practiced and presented in meaningful situations. One thing, what happens sometimes the classes become boring. Now I feel, I don't know, but this lecture has become boring now. Why? Because it's not anymore interactive. You're not saying anything, you're not adding anything to it. What does a teacher do to make the classroom interactive? To make the to make the classroom interesting, to make the teaching interesting. What does he do?
Teacher asks several questions.
Teacher asks several questions. Good.